Hey guys, happy Saturday. Due to the outpouring of support that I've gotten from all you guys, I decided to make a video before I went to bed on Brendan's 91-page opinion, which is basically a judgment, but legal terms, they call it an opinion. And I want to give a special shout out to a couple of people. First, I want to say all the girls in the Funhouse, everyone in Uncensored, all my subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough for having my back, especially Twitter, having my back against these fucking assholes. But I have to give a special shout out to one particular person who has had my back like no other. Didn't matter who she went up against, didn't matter what group it was in, didn't matter if she lost friends, if she lost people in her group. This girl has been the most amazing support system that I have had for the last about 2 months when I started really fighting with the family admins. And I'm not taking away from anyone else that supported me, but this girl has lost friendships because of me. So Laura Larson, I absolutely adore you. Thank you, and think you're a fucking amazing woman. So thank you so much, and I'm so glad I met you, and I really hope that we continue to be friends forever. So with that said, I want to get into Brendan's opinion. Now, first, I want to say that the way the courts work, it's very odd that a federal judge is going to rail and appeal courts and then also rail the state courts. I'm really, really impressed with this judge, and I don't think that he's going to be retried. And by the time I'm done with this video, you'll understand why. First thing I want to start out with is Teresa Halbach's family. Teresa Halbach's family put up on Facebook, I think it was Facebook, put up on Facebook that that Brendan's conviction was not overturned and that it's under review. And that's actually not true. Brendan Dassey's confession was thrown out. It was overturned, and it's under review in the sense that the state does have 90 days if they want to retry it. At first, I thought maybe they were going to retry it, but then I started thinking, like, no, there's no way. They'd be dumb to try to retry it because they're not going to win. But then I started thinking about the reason Stephen was in there. Stephen's in jail because of money, or we at least think that he's in there because of this $36 million. Now, Wisconsin has a law that if you make a confession, you are not entitled to money, even if you get off. Where this differs and where this is going to make such a huge difference is that Brendan's confession was thrown out. So technically, he is entitled to money. That money, he's millions. I don't know if insurance pays for it. I couldn't tell you. I think they do. But, I mean, they weren't going to pay Stephen, so maybe they won't pay this one. Who knows? If everything gets, comes out that it was all because of Brendan or it was all because of the confession or whatever, who knows if it's going to get paid by insurance. It worries me a little for Brendan because who knows what's going to happen. And it's a kind of scary thought. Like, okay, what if the same thing happens to him that happens to Stephen? What if something happens worse? So just something to think about in the back of your mind. Like maybe they are going to try to retry it just on that reason alone. I don't know. Now, the way the courts work is, like I said, it's very, very rare that an appeal court goes against the state court. I mean, it does happen a lot, but it's not as common as you think. A lot of times because the appeal board can't see, you don't have a retrial. They don't have the person's looks in front of you. They can't see facial expressions. I know all this because in my 4 or 5 appeals that were done, that's what the appeal courts came back and continually said, was that, we base it on the state opinion because they can see body language. They could see people's faces. So very rarely do they overrule it. Now, in this case, not only did they overrule it or think that the appeal courts made a mistake, they think that their error was like inexcusable, that their error was so preposterous that it should have never happened. And they base this on the fact that in an appeal in general, you look at the facts, you look at everything as a whole, and you see if the state courts did the right thing. For some unknown reason, the appeal courts in this case took every little piece of evidence, or every little piece of the confession, I should say, and made it its own entity. Now, I don't know if I'm trying to do this in layman's terms as possible, but what I say made its own entity, like when Brendan said she was shot in the head, instead of looking at the entire picture, saying, oh, okay, they egged it on though. They told them, hey, what happened to her head? What happened to her head? And they couldn't get anything out. They said it cut her hair. It was ridiculous. But this federal judge said that he wants you have to look at the entire picture. And the fact that they didn't is ridiculous and inexcusable. So that was like huge. I mean, really huge. And if you want to read it yourself, it's a 91 page. I'm going to link it, but just know you don't have to read the whole 91 pages. If you read page 85 to 91, you get everything I'm saying. The rest of it are just facts of the case that we know already, so you really don't have to read the whole thing. If you understand legal terms, it'll be very simple to read. But if not, this is what I'm explaining to you, because I figure a lot of people don't really know how to read legal terms. The one thing in it that I'm not sure, and this is honest, in the final pages of it, the final page, it says that if they appeal this, and the state decides to appeal this ruling, that it's state of judgment pending the appeal. I don't know if he means this judgment or the original judgment, which is going to stay. Now, staying means everything stays as is, but is that as is for the new judgment or as is for the old judgment? I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. I'm assuming it means for this judgment, but you never know. I firmly believe that there's a better chance that they're going to try to appeal it than they are retry it, because Brendan's entire case was based on this confession. So without the confession, they really don't have anything to retry it with. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it unfolds. That was the gist of the couple of pages. The other thing they spoke about, which really makes absolutely no sense to me, and again, the ends justify the means, so the fact that they granted his habeas corpus to begin with, fine. But the ineffective counsel, which is the first thing that Brendan asked for, they denied. Even though they say Kaczynski's behavior was inexcusable and indefensible. I'm sorry, the word they used was indefensible. So you're telling me that it's indefensible, there's no way he can justify it, yet it wasn't good enough to throw out in court. Again, it really didn't matter because the whole thing was thrown out in court. Where it matters is that he can't sue Kaczynski for being the lawyer that he is, because this high up a level said that even though it's inexcusable, shit happens, and it wasn't good enough to overturn or base a ruling on ineffective counsel, which really in itself is kind of fucked up. But it's basically saving Kaczynski's ass. He does the same thing with the police. He kind of makes it out like, okay, the police are wrong, and they did this wrong, and they did that wrong, and they did this wrong, and they shouldn't have done this, and they shouldn't have done that, but it's okay because it happens. That's going to save the cops' ass from getting in trouble. Why the federal judge is doing it that way, I'm not him. I really couldn't tell you, but I mean, the bottom line is he's getting out. When it comes to Stephen, I don't know. Supposedly, Zellner has all this new evidence and everything else, but I do want to give a total special shout out to Brendan's attorneys. And the reason why I'm giving them a special shout out is because my battery's going to die. Is because Brendan's attorneys spent somewhere over $1 million, or would have been $1 million if they were being paid to take on this case. And they have worked so tirelessly for months and months and months when the appeals turned them down, and they never ever gave up. So you have to give a special shout out to these two. So congratulations, guys. You won, and that's just amazing. I want to close this out on a final note. My girlfriend Jamie, who I met in these groups, who also stuck by me in the beginning, She's not really in the groups. She still sticks by me, but she got so tired of the drama. But one thing she said to me when I almost gave up months ago was, don't ever give up, because you're going to be a piece of history. You doing videos and you getting involved yourself in this case is going to make history, just like we all are. So the fact that we did it publicly, we as collectively, the public, made such waves in this case that it got to the level it got, and it got Zellner on the case, and it got his lawyers to really fight. We collectively are fucking awesome. So I really, that when she said it to me, it's always stuck in the back of my mind, because you know what? You're right. We did make history, and we are part of it. So a special whoop whoop to everybody, every subscriber, every hater, everyone, guilty, not guilty, doesn't matter. No matter who you are, you made a statement about this case publicly, which is why they're getting free. So that's how I want to end this tonight. And I will make another video. I'm going to read through more stuff. But again, I'm going to send a link, pages like 83, 84 to 91. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. And again, I got a new job today, so I'm really excited. I'm still doing web design, but I'm also doing IT for a major company. And that's it. So have a great weekend, and I will see you guys before the weekend's over. Peace out.